Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with a complete walkthrough of the Ghimlyt Dark, the newest dungeon released on patch 4.5 of Final Fantasy Online. This is a level 70 dungeon. It requires an item level of 360 or higher to enter, and drops level 375 gear, music, and some other items. Now, as you first start out in this dungeon, you'll have to fight your normal trash mobs. Nothing really out of the ordinary to start, but as you'll see here as you fight these guys, throughout this first section, you will have to deal with artillery strikes that will actually randomly fall around you. And you'll see them very easily. Just get the hell out of the way. You should be fine. They will appear on the screen as a big red circle as you see here. Just avoid it as you kill these, these trash mobs as you progress through. You should have no problem. You'll have to fight some dog creatures, some sky armors as you see here, a skull owl or a predator, some dog guys right here, some pugnadas or whatever they're called, and then finish it off with some Centurions and some sky armor before your first boss. Your first boss is the Mark 3B Magitek Colossus. This guy has several key mechanics you'll want to pay close attention to. His first one that he'll do is known as Jarring Blow, and it's basically nothing more than a frontal attack. As long as the tank gets aggro on him and faces him away from the other people, you should have no problem. But as you're going through, he'll also place these purple orbs around you. Space out, don't overlap, and you should be fine. Heal through it, not a problem. His other main mechanic is this right here. It's known as Magitek Slash. And what he'll do is he'll have the arrows that will be spinning in a direction. You'll want to run in that direction as he smashes the ground, trying to stay pretty much as close to right behind where he smashes, because there'll only be like one or two spaces left open you can survive. His next move will be known as Exhaust. As you see, there is a charged frontal blast. As long as you see it coming, just get out of the way and you'll be fine. His next mechanic is known as Cerulean Vent. It is a room-wide AoE that cannot be avoided. All you can do is heal through it. Now, as you progress, he'll do a move called Magitek Ray. Well, he will put an arrow above a marker. It is a split damage AoE. You'll want to stack to avoid eating the damage. And he'll generally follow it the first time with Exhaust, as you've seen there. So be ready after you stack to get the hell away from him, because he'll probably immediately blast with Exhaust. Now, that's really the only other moves that he'll do throughout this battle, is as you go through, is he'll do the Jarring Blow, which is a frontal slash that you can just easily avoid. The purple rings, which he only does a couple times. Basically just spread out and don't stack your characters to avoid taking too much damage. He's got Magitek Slash, where it's the moving ground AoE. That is his main new mechanic that you'll have to deal with this fight. Is just pay attention to the direction that the arrows are pointing in, and make sure that you pretty much stay on whatever side is the opposite of what's spinning. You should have no problem in actually surviving that. So like I said, Magitek Ray is a split damage AoE that you want to stack. Cerulean Vent is an AoE damage that you cannot avoid, just heal through it. But his main move, like I said, is the Magitek Slash. It may take you a couple times to figure it out, but once you understand, basically based on what arrows that are pointing in his direction, just kind of stand, as you see here, its arrow is pointing to the right, so you'll want to stay right next to him here, and as he slams on the ground, follow his little blasts around as they disappear to avoid being pretty much one-shotted by him. And other than that, you should have no problem in beating the Mark 3B Magitek Colossus. Now, the next section, as you fight through a ton of trash mobs, you won't have to worry about any bombs being dropped on you. You will have to fight a lot of different predators, pugnaxes, guards, and as you progress through, you'll have to fight an armored weapon. Now, that wouldn't be all, but they even throw in a scorpion that you'll have to fight as well as you progress through. It's almost like a laid-back version of the boss that you had to fight in one of the earlier dungeons. He will lay down an AoE on the ground that you will have to avoid, but other than that, it's really not too difficult. Beat these guys and just kick their butts. The scorpion isn't that hard. He does take a good amount of damage, but really just avoid his AoE as you see on the ground there, and you'll be able to get past him and get on to your second boss of this new dungeon. Your second boss battle of this new dungeon is against Prometheus, the damn driller tank. This guy has a couple different mechanics you'll want to pay attention to. Nothing really that difficult once you figure it out. His first move, General, will start off with his Nitro Spin, as you see here, and it's a outside donut style spin attack, which will make the outside of the arena on fire that you can no longer go to. You do take a little bit of damage with it as well. His main mechanic is Oil Shower, as you see here, where 3/4 of the whole arena he'll blast with molten hot oil. You'll want to get in front of him real quick to avoid that. Then he'll drill down into the ground, and what you want to do is look around and look where a bunch of fire is. As you see there, that's where he's going to zip out and fly across the arena. As long as you stay on the outside, out of the front of that fire area where he is, you will be fine. You'll be able to avoid taking any damage. Now, as he gets down to about 50%, he'll start doing a move called Freezing Missile, which he'll launch these missiles in the air before he burrows into the ground. In general, you'll want to get in the center of the arena to avoid the AoE of the missiles landing, immediately followed by getting out the way, because as you see here, he will follow Freezing Missiles with one of those moves where he goes flying across the center of the arena. So you'll have to get in the middle, look around to find where the flame is appearing, to know where he's coming from, to get the hell out of the way. Now, as you go through the battle, he will constantly do those moves, along with another move known as Unbreakable Cement Drill, which is just a plain frontal attack. Another move he'll do is known as Needle Gun, and it's similar to the Unbreakable Cement Drill. It just has a wider form of attack. And that's really the only mechanics you have to worry about with this guy. Like I said, Oil Shower, as you see there, make sure to get in front of him, because only like 1/4 of the whole area of the arena will be safe for you to stand in. Once he does his Nitro Spin, make sure you're not on the outside of the arena. You will take a little bit of damage, but as long as you're not on the outside of the arena, you'll be fine. When he goes and does the Freezing Missiles and burrows into the ground, get into the center of the arena and make sure to look where the fireball is, where he's going to come from. As you see right here, once again, he'll do another attack, get in the middle. Make sure you see where you see the red right there. Now get the hell out of the way. As long as you get in the middle to take a little bit of damage from Freezing Missile and then get out of the way as he goes across the arena, you'll be fine. And that's pretty much the only moves this guy has. And you'll be able to kick Prometheus's ass and get on to the third and final part of this dungeon. Alright, for your third and final part of this dungeon is basically gonna be a mini boss gauntlet. No joke. First of all, you have to fight tons of little ads that come along the way, including this nice little miner guy, this rear guard, and a bunch of predators and some other guys. It starts off kind of easy, nothing major to worry about with these guys. But then they start throwing in some nice little guys here. As you see, a nice Colossus. He'll do a move known as Homing Laser, where you'll see right here, just spread out, not to take too much damage. And he'll also do another move known as Grand Strike, which is a frontal slash. You can pretty much see it right here. Just pretty much get out of the way of it, burn him down, and you'll beat the Colossus. He isn't really that difficult. But then right after the Colossus, they throw a nice little buddy at you. He's coming up soon. Right, as you see here, you get to fight the Hexadrone. That's right, this guy again. He's not as hard as the boss version was, but he will do a constant missile AoE attacks. So whenever he fires his missiles, just pay attention to the ground beneath you to look for any sort of AoE marker to avoid them to beat him down. Next up will be an Avenger, pretty much the nice little monkey robot guys, and some more, minor ads. But don't worry, at this point you get some backup. You get Lise, you get Pippin, and you get all your friends that pop out to help you out here. It can be kind of hard to locking on into enemies here, though. But now they have a little fun by throwing in a Mark II Colossus. This guy will do a room-wide AoE, as you see here. You'll just want to get as far away from it as possible. Other than that, just pay attention to his swipes with his big sword. Burn his ass down, and then you'll get to the next guy. The nice Scola Colossus Rubicatus. I don't know if I said his name right. This guy has a neat move right from the start, as you'll see here, as he charges it up, known as Unbreakable Cermet Blade. At this point, get in the safety blue bubble that your friends have up for you, or you will die. After he does this move, He'll also do some other moves, including a Grand Sword, which is a giant frontal swipe attack with his sword. Pretty much, as long as you pay attention to that, he doesn't seem to do the Unbreakable Cement Blade more than once. It just seems to be at the very beginning that's scripted. But other than that, he will do the Grand Sword quite often. Just focus on him, burn him down, and you'll have no problem in beating him and getting on to your third and final boss of this dungeon. Alright, the final boss battle in this new dungeon is against Anya Soranus and Julia Soranus. It's a double team, that's right. But don't worry, you don't have to fight them both at once, and you don't have to worry about whittling their life down like you would the twin snakes or nothing. You will have to fight Anya first. And while you're fighting Anya, Julia will be on the outside of the arena, constantly dropping artillery strikes on you, which will appear as lines that connect to you. Now, as you go through this battle, there'll be certain moves that Anya will do, including Delta Trance. That's not really a big issue, but what you want to look out for is Order to Bombard. That's where you'll actually have, on the outside, you'll have Julia. They'll be actually doing line blasts at you, while Anya does this move called Angry Salamander, where they both go off at the same damn time. So you'll want to place yourself away from the other players, also avoiding the AoEs that will be blasted when she casts Angry Salamander. It's a little bit tricky since there's not much room to actually find, but you should be okay once you figure it out. Now, as you're going through this battle, you also find these blue X's that'll appear that Julia is setting up on the outside of the arena that will send through as they blast. You just want to stay out of the front of them as they go off to avoid them. Now, throughout this battle, Anya will also do a move called Artificial Plasma, which is a basic room-wide AoE. You cannot avoid it. You will just have to heal through it. Now, as you go through, she'll do a couple other moves, including one called Stunning Sweep, which is nothing really special, just a circular attack. Just get away from her and you'll be fine. But now, as you progress down and you burn Anya down all the way, then they will both join in the middle for a move that they don't say what the name of the move is, but they say, wow, you're not going to survive this. And what you want to do is pay close attention, because they'll be zipping around the arena, but before they go, you'll see these white lines, as you see here, on the arena floor. And what you want to do is position yourself away from one of these white lines to avoid their trajectory, because they're going to be like ping-ponging through on these white lines. As long as you're out of the way of the white lines, you should be able to survive this attack, and then they will switch characters. At this point, you will be fighting Julia, as Anya will be on the outside of the arena, constantly doing line attacks on you as well. Now, Julia will do a move that is called an Innocence, which is just a basic frontal attack, not really anything to worry about. But she'll do a move called Commence Airstrike. This one is a bit different, where they will drop Cerulean tanks from the air onto the area. And what you want to do is avoid them, because Julia will run around and attack them, and they will detonate, not really in an order, but when the closest ones nearby will explode. So basically, avoid the Cerulean tanks as they explode. You should be okay. Now, as Julia goes through the fight after he does the airstrike, she'll also do Artificial Plasma as well, similar to what Anya did. But once you actually burn her down, they will both join in the middle of the ring and do their end move once again. Once again, they won't tell you. They'll just go in there and say, oh, there's not too many people who have ever survived this. And that'll be where they start placing AoEs on you at first, followed by the lines. It'll be like big AoEs that you have to space apart from, and then you'll have the lines. And, pretty much as long as you handle it the same way you did when Anya did it the first time, you should have no problem when Julia does it. And you should be able to burn Julia down pretty easy and quickly. And then they will both join up in the middle of the ring to do their finale move. This one, they will pretty much say that no one has survived it. And they will start casting a move known as Imperial Authority. Imperial Authority. And the meter will be slowly filling, and you have to burn them both down and defeat them both before they fully charge Imperial Authority. Because if you don't, and they set that move off, it will be a instant wipe for the party, and you will have to start over on this double person fight. Fortunately, this fight is not that hard once you get the hang of the basics of how each of the players, how they both fight with you. Like I said, Anya will do the order to bombard, which will drop the bombs, and you have to deal with the line blast, and she does the angry salamander move. And Julia will do the commence airstrike, which is the cerulean tanks that drop. Other than that, the only real main mechanic to watch out for is their tag team move, where they do that line move. Other than that, it's really not that hard of a battle. You should be able to beat it no problem, and actually get some sweet, sweet loot, some musical notes, and maybe even a super rare minion if it happens to show up. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I want to thank everybody who subscribes to my channel. I want to say thank you for everyone who watches this video. Hopefully it helps you get through this dungeon fairly easily. Please leave in the comments below what you'd like to see me review in the future. And remember, I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.